We Are ND Nation podcast, a new era of Irish football with your host, me, Evan J. Thomas, and my new co-host, Dennis Stover, as we will bring you special guests throughout the season. We will go deep with your Irish football coverage in a way that you haven't seen or heard before. Dennis and Evan are just two best friends, lifelong Irish fans, bringing you the best Notre Dame football coverage, analysis, and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on wearendnation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the We Are ND Nation podcast. Today's show, we have a new fan question segment, as well as our usual Name That Former ND Player segment, and our takes on this past weekend's game. But I'd like to bring on our special guest today, who is a former Notre Dame alum. Get it? I guess alum would be a former anyway, but class of 1993. She's the author of 4 books on Notre Dame athletics, and she was just telling me she's on another one right now. She's also a contributor for onefootdown.com. So welcome to the We Are ND Nation podcast family.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Kelly, what is up?
How are you?
Pretty good. Oh, by the way, I'm Evan J. Thomas, and with me always is Dennis Stover. So we are the We Are ND Nation podcast. Malik Zaire has started his own, so he is no longer with me, but he might jump on here or there. So
you can go on his.
Yeah, he's missing a lot. It's all good. we finally saw a win in the Marcus Freeman era.
24-17
win, which actually I predicted the correct answer.
Got it. Well done.
I have to humble brag, tap on the back, that I actually picked the correct score. Scary because, you had that fumble recovery for a touchdown that was then reversed, and then you had the Hail Mary at the end of the game. Holy shit. And by the way, you are allowed to swear on the show, so you can if you want to.
Awesome, because football is my second favorite F word. So
there you go. So Dennis, let's start with you. What did you think of that ending and just that
ending? What did I think of the ending? I thought that outside of the Hail Mary, pretty much it was almost caught. Second half was really good. We finally saw what we should have seen, at least from the offensive and defense. Let me say this again. The offensive line and defense as a whole. Defense as a whole, that should be our strength. They finally put together, I would say, a good 3 quarters even. Shut them down the second half, really. I think they may have scored once in the second half. I can't remember. It's a game I finally watched the whole game this week, too, by the way.
I think they did. And the one thing that bothered me with that defense is the fact that they had how many times did they have Plummer, California?
They had him sacked quite a bit.
At least 4 or 5 times.
So it's just a matter of wrapping. They got to just wrap up, maybe break down a little bit more and stay in the lane. Don't over pursue. Keep the angle, not the good angle, but keep the right angle. And then the offensive line finally started pushing some people around and making some holes because, again, I said it since our preview show, and I'm going to keep saying it. Give Tyree the damn football.
And they gave it to him finally.
Yeah.
Run the damn ball, right?
Yeah. Especially with those two. Tyree and Estime are great.
Yeah,
together.
So Tyree had 17 carries, 64 yards. Estime had 18 carries, 76 yards. Finally, 41 carries between him and them two and Pyne. And speaking of Pyne, you got to say, he managed the game well.
That's all we're going to get from him.
That's kind of what
if the line plays well and he doesn't play like he did the first half and miss some throws that hell I could make. I remember making some of those throws.
I know. I talked to my dad. He's like, this is college. We are the University of Notre Dame. Throw the damn ball, right?
Yeah,
don't have your elbow all wobbling all over the place.
Well, like that move? You mean that? Because that's kind of what he was doing the whole game. He was very happy feet, and I get it. It was his first legit start actually, I don't think he started before in college. So,
but he looked so much better in the second half. So whoever talked to him at halftime and made some adjustments, it worked.
Well, some of us saw the Twitter post with Tommy Reese and his "Do your effing job." The team is counting on you.
Yeah.
Just
Be a
effing do
leader,
it.
right?
Yeah, be an effing leader. I mean, I could, like I said, I could swear, but I'm kind of toning it down for him because that was heated over the phone, and I guess Tommy's pissed off that got out too. So,
everything's under the microscope. It was when Brian Kelly was purple face. It's just
Well, you have to watch how you conduct yourself because at any time it could get everywhere. So be a leader. Hold yourself right, and then you don't have those problems.
I personally don't have a problem with Tommy going in like that.
Not at all.
No.
Maybe sometimes you need a little, wake up.
Especially after those first 4 drives that Notre Dame had, and they went 3 and out, and there was maybe 7 yards, 6 yards per drive. It was pedestrian. And before halftime, I mean, the team even got booed off the field again.
Yeah,
not badly, but just enough to be annoying.
Well, I want a coach that puts a little fear in them. I mean, you go back to the 80s and you watch Coach Holtz go out into the middle of the field and drag Huntley off by his face mask. Okay?
Grab the face mask.
That's what I want. I want somebody that even today you see those guys talk about Holtz and they still have a little fear in their hearts, right? That's good, right? That's what I want out of a head coach.
I agree.
And Lisa, you were at the game. Were you on the field at the last play?
I was not.
You were not. So were you in the press box then?
I didn't work this game. My daughter was with me, and so we were having some fun. Yeah.
So what was your thought of the last play in that Hail Mary? Because I literally, right before the play happened, I almost couldn't watch because I kind of anticipated what might happen. But what did you think of that last play in that series?
From where we were, it was hard to see what was happening. And so, you just saw like a whole bunch of people piling in there and we all just held our breath like, please.
Major gasp. And just kind of, oh my God, what just happened? And the fact that, and this is what pissed me off more than anything, that those DBs or whoever was in the end zone were not knocking the ball down. They were trying to catch it.
Be aggressive.
Yeah.
Right? Get it out of there.
Get it away, yeah.
That is, and I guess Freeman after the game said that he needed to coach his team up a little bit more on Hail Marys.
A little bit,
I'm sorry, but you've done Hail Marys in high school. You should know to bat the ball down. If you've ever watched football, you know to bat the ball down. You don't catch it. So, crazy.
No. You don't need a stat at that point. Just end the game. Just get a win. That's the only stat I'm.
Right.
And the fact that the ball landed on the guy's chest while laying on the ground. My dad texted me after the game. He goes, that ball was in his chest. And I was like, holy cow, we were that close to losing that game.
Yeah, so way too close.
And what did you guys think of Pyne's execution? Dennis was kind of mentioned a little bit in the second half, but just overall, how do you think he kind of ran the offense?
I mean, I think first half was a little rough, but again, he hasn't had a start, right? Because he played last year with the Wisconsin game, but I don't think he started. So, it's just different being on a huge stage with 80,000 fans screaming at you. You have to, get some reps in before you feel comfortable out there. And I think we saw in the second half, he was much more comfortable. They made a few adjustments and I think he'll be fine moving forward. He just, you don't know what to expect. It's like you don't know what you don't know, right? Until you get out there.
And think about it. He's a sophomore. And like you just said, he's in front of 80,000 people. I mean, I'm 47 and
No, isn't he a junior? I think
he's a junior? Or is he a sophomore?
Anywho, we can look it up.
So what I was going to say is I'm 47 and I played a playoff softball game last night and I was nervous on my first step back. So in front of 80,000 people as quarterback at Notre Dame, I mean, I can get it. You have nerves and you're going to be a little happy feet and a little wobbly elbow. So
yeah, on the roster, it says junior/sophomore. So I don't know what that means.
So was that red shirt?
Probably.
Probably.
So technically junior in class, but sophomore in eligibility.
The good thing about how the offense ran and what I liked is the fact that Dennis mentioned it at the beginning. The offense kind of held their own offensive line, brought the defenders up, and that's actually what got them to the holy shit. That thunder is like crazy.
I can hear it.
Pulled in the defenders. So Tyree and Mayer were like open on those 2 touchdowns. So so they were both wide open. I mean, Mayer did that little hook on 5, and then Tyree straight up the middle. So that was like the perfect way to kind of lure them in. I mean, what were your thoughts on that? Is that kind of the same thing, Lisa?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm excited to see what he can do. I think we have so much talent on that offense with Lindsey and Tyree and Mayer. Like, we have good hands, we have good runners. We just need to get it going.
Dennis, obviously the same kind of thing you said earlier.
Yeah, well, Pyne won't be able to spread the ball to, all the weapons that we have, because we do have a lot. I'd like to see Tobias Merriweather get some catches. He was out on the field.
He was apparently on the field, didn't get a catch. I'm looking at
so, and then there's was it Bauman and Cade Barong. There's multiple tight end sets. And we didn't see Diggs. I guess he was a little banged up, but there's just a lot. But I don't know. Again, I'm not gonna freak out on Pyne because he is just, it is just football and he's just playing a game. But again, that's going to be our shortcoming. And if he plays well, I mean, I don't mean it's easy to be Captain Obvious, but if the line plays how they're supposed to play, then he should be just fine. How's that?
And I think the more reps he takes, the better
his
rhythm is going to be. And the chemistry with his receivers, like, that takes time. It doesn't happen instantly. I mean, look at it took Cone a little while to get his rhythm going with his receivers. And I mean, hell, you look in the NFL, the Steelers' new quarterback is having a little trouble getting in rhythm with his receivers. So
there's a few teams, you can call them the Bears and other ones too, even Green Bay a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like everybody has that issue. I'm going to just go over Pyne's stats real quick. He was 17 of 23, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns with a 59.3 QBR. And he did, like Dennis was saying, he spread it out to 7 different receivers. So that's good right there. So the fact
good. I hope he can do that. Yeah.
Moving the ball around pretty well, and that always helps out, just so he's not focusing on just one guy either, because once that happens, and actually,
okay, though.
That was Buckner's thing, I think, he was staring down his wide receivers. If I can recall.
Well, yeah, I mean, he does have a couple of years on him. He did play with Ian Book, so I'm sure he learned something from him. But again, he got better as the O-line got better. And plus they were able to run the ball. So it bought him time to throw, or they were mixing it up. And I really think the offensive line, it has to keep playing the way they played that second half, especially. And maybe we can be better than those first 2 games.
And the other good thing about this game, we got our first win, but also Coach Freeman finally got his first victory in his career. Starting off 0-3, finally won. If he didn't win, there would be a major, major story at Notre Dame for that. But he did give the victory, and I think he just became a man of God like a week ago too. So he's the first win as a Christian.
Well, I think he just converted to Catholicism. I don't know.
That what it was? I saw something like that.
I don't know. I read that.
I'm not.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that matters one way or the other.
No, it doesn't at all. But I'm just kind of throwing.
He could play football whether he's going to church or not going to, or coach football whether he's going to church or not going to church. So.
Yeah. Plus, they had Coach Holtz talk to the team Friday night, so maybe Holtz got them fired up,
Well, you had Holtz Friday night, and you had Manti actually at the game on Saturday, which to me was a big, kind of a really good spark for the team as well.
Yeah, they had Manti at Mass with them on Saturday, and then he walked with them from the Basilica to the stadium. So I think that was cool. That was a nice touch.
And he actually showed up on the field toward the end of the game too, and was kind of watching it from the end zone that I was in. So that was pretty neat seeing him down there. But he got a standing ovation, and I mean, how can he not? He's Manti Te'o.
Yeah.
Already 12 years ago 10 years ago was that game. Holy shit.
Oh, the season, 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
Yeah.
10 years ago already. Crazy how time flies. So we're going to go into break here in a moment. When we do come back, we're going to do our new fan question segment. But before we do that, I'm going to give Dennis his name that former ND player stats.
All right, here we go.
He's 3 for 4 so far. So he's been
Nice.
pretty good. And the one he got wrong, I'm shocked he got wrong because actually I thought that was the one he'd get right. So, all right, so here we go. You have a wide receiver who played at Notre Dame from 2002 to 2006. He has a total of 170 receptions, 2,277 yards for a 13.4 average and 22 touchdowns. He basically has 0 rushing stats, so that's not even going to qualify. So again, 2002 to 2006 wide receiver. I'll give you the stats when we get back. Dennis, you have an idea? Don't say the name, damn it.
I'm not. I wasn't. I'm good now. Remember?
Yeah, the first episode he gave it to me on the first. I think I gave him the years, and he knew who it was, and I'm like, what the hell?
I got an idea. There could be a little twist in there. I'm trying to think of the years. I think I may have it.
Okay. So Lisa Kelly, Dennis Stover, Evan J. Thomas, the We Are ND Nation podcast. We're going to take about a minute and a half break so I can throw in my 2 commercials of me. And then we will come back. Dennis loves them, the E2B2 podcast and the Rock Hard with Evan J. Thomas show. So we will all be right back here on the one and only We Are ND Nation podcast. Yes, that's the one I'm on today. I'm right back. Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central. Join me, Evan J. Thomas, for an hour of new rock and metal on the Rock Hard with Evan J. Thomas show on the Badass Radio Network. Blast that shit. The E2B2 podcast featuring father and son duo Evan J. Thomas and
Brandon Thomas.
Who is your daddy and what does he do?
as we discuss our lives,
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
pop culture, and some of the best movies.
John Wick.
Oh yeah, and some duds. Listen to the E2B2 podcast on BadassProductions1.com in the on-demand section under E2B2.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you?
Or listen to Spotify, Google Podcasts, or almost anywhere you can get your podcasts.
I guess you guys aren't ready for that yet, but your kids are gonna love it.
Oh yeah, and Brandon, guess what?
Yeah, we get it. You are my father.
All right, back here on the We Are ND Nation podcast. Thank you, Irish fans, and even those who might not be Irish fans, onto the We Are ND Nation podcast. Special guest Lisa Kelly is with Dennis and I, and we, right before the break, I kind of haven't revealed yet, but I gave Dennis the stats on the name that former ND player. And are you ready for the stats again?
Yes,
All right,
let's go.
2002 to 2006 wide receiver. Total of 170 receptions. 2,277 yards, 13.4 yards per catch, 22 total touchdowns. Dennis, do you know who that is?
Maurice Stovall?
Wrong. So close.
Is it Rima?
All right, Lisa, who would you think? Do you even know?
I don't know. Mm-mm.
You said Rima McKnight. Yes, it was Rima McKnight.
Damn it! That's what I was had one of the two. Son of a
And
bitch.
actually,
So
originally
close.
I had Stovall as a first name, but
I
I'm
was like, because I thought Rima got one more year because he missed 1 year.
he did. That's why 2002 to 2006, 5 seasons.
Six.
Yeah, so I got him. The years.
Yeah.
Damn it!
And one was the
I was right there.
Yeah, you were right there. He was
And it was funny because you said no rushing because Samardzija could have been an easy answer too, but Samardzija had that reverse a run on Michigan State in Weiss's second year to come back. I remember that.
this guy's a stat genius over here, buddy.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
But I do have to say, Rima did
Damn.
have 2 carries for -2 yards. That's why I said it didn't really matter.
Rima had that good game that first year when they beat Michigan in the big house. Remember that?
Yes,
That
I
was
do.
fun.
That run down the sideline when we were standing
That was
there jumping
nice.
around like crazy, man. By the
No,
way,
no. That was Michigan Weiss's first year at the
Okay.
big house. That was Michigan State.
Anyway, Lisa, just so you know, a little backstory. Dennis and I, we used to go to high school together like 30-something years ago. And we've been roommates like, what, 5 different times? in our
Yeah.
lives?
We kind of met all the Forrest and Bubba on the bus, like first day of school. Like, hey, can I sit
Wow, that is a great comp right there.
there? Can I
Forrest
sit
and
there?
Bubba.
You're like, yeah, you can sit here.
Oh, dude, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm
Love
gonna
it.
throw in a little video right after.
Or when they were in the army, when they were going in the army, yeah.
But we didn't do the whole shrimp.
Well, yeah.
I made a mistake, seeing how it was only my induction day and I was already getting yelled at.
Sit down if you want to.
I didn't know who I might meet or what they might ask.
You ever been on a real shrimp boat?
No, but I've been on a real big boat.
So anyway,
So anyway, let me get to the new fan question segment. I actually have two of them that were submitted to me. One from Dennis and my friend Elijah Wozniak.
I love that.
Says he absolutely loves this show and loves the connection between Dennis and I. Shocking because, again, what did I just say? 30-something years as friends.
Yeah.
And we talk basically every Notre Dame Saturday. Anyway, so what Eli asks, would Notre Dame have the same record if that guy Brian Kelly was still the coach? Yes or no?
No.
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 If no, what
They'd
would
be
he
2-1.
thought he'd be 2-1? So what would he
They
have
would
lost
lost
that
Ohio
Freeman
State. They
didn't
were going to lose
get?
Ohio State regardless. They had to beat Marshall. He had to beat Marshall. I think Al Golden did make adjustments on defense, and that's how Marshall looked ready to play. Notre Dame took him light. So I think if Brian Kelly was the coach, Marcus Freeman would have been defensive coordinator. We would have taken him lightly, and we would have beat Marshall.
And what did Brian Kelly? What would he have done differently than Marcus Freeman on this season?
Well, I just said I think he would have because Marcus Freeman would have been defensive coordinator.
You did just say that. I got to pay attention.
I went quick. I was going quickly so we could get all our stuff in. Plus, I want to hear what Lisa had to say.
And Lisa, what would you say? I mean, obviously, you just said no as well. So, what reason?
I mean, if you look at last season and we almost lost to Toledo, I think that Marshall would have been the same trap game for Kelly. And I'm not convinced that Kelly would have beat Marshall. I mean, if you look at what Marshall did with that team and all the transfers they pulled out of the portal, they were not some lowly MAC team. Okay. They had some serious talent on that team. And I think Kelly probably would have underestimated them and would have got smacked in the face. So I'm not convinced that, he wouldn't be 1-2 right now as well.
So I would agree with the both of you as well. So no, and I do think they would have won that game. But I also think Brian Kelly would have had a quarterback out of the transfer portal that Marcus Freeman didn't do.
Yeah.
So that's the
I read an article
that I
today.
think Brian Kelly would have done differently.
Yeah. I read an article today about the same thing, like they should have. And I guess it came down to Tommy feeling that they didn't have to because they had 3 solid quarterbacks that could get the job done.
That's the thing I read too. So spot on that.
Yeah.
All right. So
I don't agree. I think they should have kicked the tires.
Yeah, they should have. I mean, like you said last week, they had Slovis out there and they kind of were actually going to go for him. And then I guess Tommy was the one that said no. So,
well, I think Notre Dame needs to get more on board with the transfer portal because the whole landscape of college football is changing.
Yep.
And if we do not get in with that, we are going to get left behind.
Yep. I agree. Wide receivers as well. I mean, yeah, we might be getting some wide receivers, but if you can get one stud, just think about it. This is basically free agency in college football. That's what
it's going to be. I mean, that's
exactly
with the super conferences coming, it's going to be 50 teams. It's going to be a semi-pro league. Maybe the NCAA will go away and there'll be these 3 mega conferences. And Notre Dame might have to, we're going to have to join something. And I don't know unless we get in. Well, if they move to a 12-team playoff, then I guess then we don't have to worry about being in a conference because we might be able to get in with 12 wins.
So that's another question for Lisa. Would you want Notre Dame to join a conference?
I don't. I mean, I think if we're headed toward that 12 conference, game, I think that we're fine as we are. There's so much
as
bad
4-team playoff with 4 teams. You don't think we would have to? We could.
I mean, if they kept it at 4, I think you'd almost have to join a conference.
Yeah.
But
okay.
aren't we pretty confident we're going to a 12-team playoff.
Yeah, I heard. What is that?
Yeah.
2026 or 2025?
I mean, I think that's so. I mean, you got a couple of years, you got to deal with it, but I don't think it's worth joining a conference just for the next 4 years because I don't know where we fit. Like, I don't think we fit in the Big Ten. I don't want to join the 12. I don't want to join the Pac. I think SEC is suicide. Like, you know.
Yeah.
If you look at Arkansas joining the SEC, they had some rough growing pains. They had to get a big time coach out of Georgia to turn it around, you know. And I think the two teams that are joining the SEC are going to get a rude awakening.
Oklahoma.
SEC football is.
Yeah, they're going to get
whole different. You know, they're going to get smacked, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean,
that's
I think
probably why
just
Lincoln Riley left.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because he jumped over. He's like, "Hey, I'm going over to USC," and then now you're going to the Big Ten. So go from the Pac-10 or Pac-12 to the Big Ten. But and Dennis and I talked about this early on a couple different podcasts that I said Big Ten would be the best spot for them to land. ACC to me wouldn't be good enough because Big Ten to me is a lot more at stake.
Yeah.
I just think there's too much bad history with the Big Ten. I don't think the powers that be would ever let that happen.
Right.
Okay. All right. So let me do the second fan question that we have. And this one comes from a friend of mine, Julian Rosales. I think Lisa knows him as well.
I do.
And the question from Julian was, how many wins do we predict now for the Irish? Dennis and I both had 10 wins to start the season and 10-2. So what do you think we're at now?
Me, I think 7-5, maybe 8-4 if we play well.
Okay, 7-5. That would puts it about right there. Yeah, one game over. I'm going to say 8-4. I do think they're going to lose this week to North Carolina because that was one of my original losses, and that USC game they're going to get smoked.
You think they're going to beat Clemson?
Oh, I forgot about Clemson. Shit. See, now.
Yeah.
I have to readjust my
BYU could beat us. BYU could win.
6-6. Okay, there you go. 6-6.
Yeah.
I'm changing it on the fly. And Lisa, what do you think Notre Dame's final tally of wins are going to be this year?
Yeah, I think we're more like either 7-5 or 6-6. I mean, it's just rough with a new coach. We got a brand new quarterback we threw in there. I mean, you have to think this is a rebuilding year, right? Like, don't jump off the ship. It's not going down. Just be patient. Give him a year. I mean, Holtz went 6-6 in his first year. I mean, it's not the first time we've had a brand new coach go 6-6. So I think people are panicking unnecessarily.
And that happens with every fan base every year in every football league. So that's
I know.
just how
I know I did a little bit, and I maybe am, but also because Holtz was already a coach for 14 years. Hell, he even coached in the NFL. Marcus Freeman has zero head coaching experience.
That's true.
But I love the guy. That's all I'm saying. So.
All right. So moving on to the next thing.
I don't want him to lose the recruiting class. That's the main thing. Don't lose this class and the next class. They're so strong. If he can keep them together, then he'll be just fine. Because I know
we're a top 5. Actually, like I think we were at number 1 at one point a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's stellar.
Yeah. Got to keep it together.
Next game we have is actually this Saturday. We're going to be at North Carolina at 2:30 on ABC. And I'm looking at the stats here and what North Carolina has put up in the first 3 games. They're 3-0, averaging 51 points per game, 310 yards in the air per game as well. Since I have already just thrown those stats at you, what are you guys looking or expect from the offense and defense in Notre Dame this week?
I mean, unless we're all cylinders firing, I don't know that we beat that.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. Dennis, what are you thinking?
Their offense is pretty good. I think it's going to end up being a loss. Maybe, like the score we just had, but the opposite, 24-17, maybe. I don't know. They might be able to get some points on us, though. But I still really like to keep some hope on this defense. I'd like to see a couple more turnovers. I mean, we had them hell, one was reversed.
Yep.
You know,
I
and
think-
if we can run the ball, maybe keep their offense off the field, play that old school, you know.
I think we don't have a turnover on defense this year yet either. So we're one of like 4 teams that don't have a defense.
Wasn't there? There was an interception, I thought, though, last week.
I think
No?
that was overturned as well.
Oh, it was. Holy shit!
So
Wow.
yeah, unfortunately,
Yeah.
we had
The refs,
nothing.
the refs were not on our side.
No, they weren't.
Especially in that last 6 minutes, everything went freaking the Bears' way. That was crazy. So many. I think I was just tired from booing. It was so bad. So that you just get used to it. So, like I said, looking at going forward, who do you think needs to have a breakout game? We actually, like we said earlier, finally had the running backs, Tyree and Estime, break out. Pyne held it. I think, to me, Michael Mayer needs a huge game this week. That's my
Agreed. I mean, he's got the best hands. Like, let's get it moving.
He only had 1 catch last week, too, for a touchdown, but 1 catch.
That's it.
That's it.
Jeez.
Yeah.
They might. Well, you know, teams aren't. Let's face facts. He's probably could be getting double and triple covered. I mean, I'm sure they're doing everything they can to keep the ball out of his hands. So teams are definitely going to. But you'd like to think it would open up for other people. I'm going to say, why don't we say Drew Pyne?
Drew Pyne's a man. He's got
to have. Maybe this is his game now, where he comes out and plays like he did for that relief moment at Wisconsin last year, where he looked really well, and everyone was like, "Maybe he should start. Maybe he should start." It's like, no, Cohen should still start.
He had huge glimpses of brilliance in that Wisconsin game. If that's who we get for an entire 60 minutes, I'm all for that.
Yes.
I'm going to say which Pyne I don't want, and that's the Marshall Pyne. He threw the interception right to the linebacker. Boom! Right there in front of his face. So, yeah,
he was very deer in headlight. Yeah, nobody wants that.
God, was he ever? Oh, that was one of the worst plays I've ever seen by a quarterback. Let's go with Dennis. Do you have a prediction of your score for this week?
Score prediction.
Now, remember, I got it right, so I'm going to hopefully nail mine again.
What's the spread?
Oh, crap. I didn't even look at that. Go ahead. Keep talking. I'll look that up right now.
I'm going to say 35, North Carolina. No, 34. 34-21.
Awesome. And Lisa, do you have a pick for this week?
I'll say 31-17.
All right. So here's a little, this might help out. You might want to change your over under is 56. The spread is only plus 1.5 at Notre Dame.
Notre Dame's a favorite?
No, Notre Dame's
they're giving, okay, got it.
Yeah, they're giving a 1.5. So it's only a 1.5.
Jeez.
That's I didn't think that would be that low.
Wow.
So sticking with
North Carolina's quarterback, he is a freshman. So if our defense can get to him, maybe I'll. Well, you know what? Maybe it'll be like
31-17 us. Let's get a win.
Yeah, maybe I will. Maybe I'll say a squeaker. Maybe I'll go 24-20 Notre Dame. How's that?
Okay, so you're going back for a win, and the quarterback's name is May, M-A-Y-E. I'm trying to quickly pull this up so I'm not screwing anything up. Drake May is the kid's name. He already has 11 touchdowns in 3 games and 930 yards. So
and rushing or passing?
Passing.
Yeah, with that Appalachian State score, was it like 106?
63 to 61.
It's like a basketball score.
That was a basketball. I mean, basketball teams have scored less than that.
Ridiculous.
So since you guys picked wins, oh my God. So I hate to go against Notre Dame, but this is one of the games at the beginning of the year I said was a trap game. So I'm going to stick with it. I'm going actually Notre Dame losing 35-28. So it's, to me, I think it's going to be close, but I do think
not enough.
I just feel we already had the trap game. Like they better be ready to go.
That's
right?
why. That's what I'm looking for.
Freeman needs to use that as ammunition. Like, look, we got embarrassed against Marshall. We're not doing that again, right?
Yeah,
so we're going in here. They got a freshman quarterback. Our defense has just got to get at it. I mean, if we get a couple turnovers and turn that momentum, I think we got it.
Definitely have to pressure the kid like they did last week because Notre Dame had, 6 sacks? So,
Yeah.
that's a good thing. And obviously, we probably should have had at least 5 more. So, there should have been over a double-digit sack game for them, but they just didn't, like Dennis and I said, we didn't wrap up. It just happened.
Yeah.
And Jude would run for some yards. All right, we got about 2 minutes left. So, before we get out of here, I just want to thank Lisa Kelly for joining us. She, again, class of 1993 at Notre Dame. She is the author of 4 books.
Ooh, 93.
The year we graduated high school. So she's
But that was Kevin McDougal. That was my year, man. God damn it.
That was your year. So there you go.
That was the national championship year.
So she wrote 4 books on Notre Dame athletics as a contributor to onefootdown.com. And she is amazing and one of the most fun people I've ever hung out with at games. So
yeah, if you want to check out my books, they're at echoesfromnotredamebooks.com.
Yep, and hopefully I get to see you soon because I missed you at 3 different places this past weekend. You were at George's tailgate, which I was there at one point, and then you were probably wandering around. I just missed you.
I'll be at Stanford and Clemson at home. So,
well, Dennis is in New York right now, and hopefully you're flying in for the BC game, right?
Yeah. Well, I wish I could come to more, but
Yeah, I'm hoping to go to Clemson.
Life of a chef.
I'll at least be at the BC game. So thank you guys all for joining us. Dennis Stover, any other final things here in the last minute?
Jacob Lacey is all man.
He's all man. I like that one. It's going to be your clip of the week right there. Go on YouTube, baby. All right. Well, again, thank you guys all for joining us on the We Are ND Nation podcast. For Lisa Kelly, Dennis Stover, I am Evan J. Thomas. Make sure you're following us everywhere on the socials at We Are ND Nation. Also, weareNDNation.com on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. YouTube. And you can find this podcast on, I think we're on Anchor and Spotify. So there's everything. I am Evan J. Thomas. And until next time, you know what to say. Go Irish.
Go Irish.
Go Irish. And fuck Michigan.
Go Irish. Yeah.
Analysis and our opinions on a weekly basis. You can watch or listen to the We Are ND Nation podcast on YouTube every Friday during the season on weareNDNation.com. Follow us on the socials. We are ND Nation. Go Irish.